Hello, my name is Sarah Silvana and I'm a psychology student and today I'm going to talk about my worst day. My worst memory or my worst day is actually a personal story. My mother is an only girl on two boys and my mother was something sacred to my grandfather. After getting married, she decided to get a child or to get pregnant like any other married couple. But unfortunately, the first two pregnancies were a failure. After taking a year break, she decided to get pregnant again. After doing so, the doctor explained to her that what's her health case and why her previous pregnancies were a fail, and that she needed to take care of herself more than any other pregnant woman. At At 4 months, she went to the doctor for her monthly checkup and told her that he identified the sex of the baby. But she decided that she doesn't want to know the sex of the baby, and whatever she gets from God is good. It's a gift. The same day the doctor actually knew, but my mother refused to know what's the sex of the baby. She went to bed and she dreamt that she was standing in front of a building and her hands were upward toward the building and she was screaming, Reem, Reem, please get me my daughter. Uh, she's still up there. In her dream, the girl was round faced, she has a bit of hair, she has a lot of hair on her head, and she was suffocating because, of course, the building was on fire. When she woke up, she went to see the report. She went to look at the report, and she found out that the sex of the baby is a girl. So she decided that she's gonna call her daughter Reem. But my grandfather refused and said that he wants the girl to be called Salwa as the same as his wife or my mother's mother or my grandmother. So they refused. After 3 months, at 7 months, my mother went to her monthly checkup, and the doctor told her with a scared face that you need to go and deliver right now because the baby's dying. My father did the procedures and he called my mother and my grandfather and my mother, and they all came to the hospital and they were waiting. Suddenly, the operation room doors opened and a bunch of nurses were running with a half-kilo baby to the NICU. NICU. I was a premature baby, only weighing half a kilo. The moment I was coming out of the operation room as a baby, my grandfather glanced at me and he saw what my mother dreamt in her dream. He saw a round-faced baby with plenty of hair on her head that is actually suffocating and can't breathe. That's the moment where my grandfather fell in love with me. At first, doctors were telling my parents and my family that I was going to die, but if not, I'm either going to be abnormal as in height or weight. When I came after a month and a half, I came back home. I went out of the NICU and I went home, and my grandfather welcomed me with 3 huge bags of baby clothes. I grew up day by day, months by months, and after a year and a half, I had a sibling. I had a younger brother. After after a while, days passed, and now my grandfather has 3 grandchildren: me, my brother, my cousin, and myself. He would always let me sleep over and not let my brother nor my cousin sleep. Rarely, he always chose me. I shared with him his wrestling obsession. He was a wrestler, and we both liked Hulk Hogan. We admired him. I shared with I used to I remember when I was a kid, like I was 4 or 5. My mother used to tell us that, come on, we get dressed, we're gonna go to your grandfather's house, and I started running and jumping and laughing. My grandfather was my everything, and he's still my everything, although he's not with us right now. I remember I was 6 and I used to sit with him and watch fashion shows. And he always used to tell me when the wedding dresses came out, when the bride dresses came out, he used to choose the best, nice, hottest dress, like children these days say. and he used to tell me when he gets older, I'm gonna get it for you. I was 8 now. I started seeing my grandfather getting older and he's getting weaker every single day. I was too young to understand what cancer was. I saw him going to the hospital but never understood why. A year passed and I woke up next to my brother in my uncle's house. I was surprised. I slept the day before in my bed. How did I move to my uncle's house? I went to my auntie and to my uncle's wife and I told her, why are we here? She said with a smile, which I understood later that it was a fake smile, that come on, go get dressed. We're going to your grandfather. As usual, I was still a kid and I started jumping over the house and running. Okay, yeah, I'm going to my grandfather. I'm going to see my grandfather. But my grandfather was not there. The door opened, the door of his house opened, and my mother was crying. Everyone was wearing black. Why? Where's my grandfather? He was the one who usually welcomes me home when I reach his home. He was the one who usually kisses me and hugs me. Where is he? My grandfather was gone. He was no more there. On April 18th, 2002, my grandfather passed away and took my happiness. My worst memory, my worst day I experienced was at age 9. My worst memory was on April 18th, 2002, 5 p.m. And I would like to tell my grandfather, if he can hear me, and I know he does, that I love him and I loved him and I still do and I will always do, and that he is my everything. Thank you very much for watching this video and to keep up with me, and sorry if I got emotional. He's just my everything.